back when Speedway City was going on, I remember we used to run at Speedway City a lot on Friday night, and it was Murray Bridge on a Saturday, so we sort of missed that.
How'd your racing career even start?
Strangely enough, through my old man. He raced for quite a few years, and then later in his career he sort of enticed me in. I hadn't really raced a whole lot. I did bitumen karts for a few years, and then I was more always into my football and sports, and it was just, I always loved it. It was just sort of enticed to me through good grades at school, and I think when I was about 17 I had my first go in one.
Yeah, right. So that was like first going speedway as well?
Never raced anything else.
Yeah, right. So no junior sedans, dirt karts?
Nothing. Always rode motorbikes as a kid. And then, I broke my leg playing footy, and I had to have a few years off because I had a bit of a tumour in my bone, and I took up bitumen karts for a couple of years, and then as soon as I sort of come good from that, I sort of dropped that and went straight back to footy, and so I never really raced anything, but it was always something on the list of things I wanted to do.
Yeah, right. It's a pretty wild step up.
Yeah, it was a big step, that's for sure, and definitely an eye opener when you got in one.
So obviously that was like borderline. You did a practice day, or
I actually went out one sponsors day one year, and just went out and jumped in, and I was in the old man's seat, and I was swimming around. And we put some pillows around my ribs, and just had to squirt around. It was good fun.
Yeah, right. Was that 360? Was that?
It would have been 360 back then. I think I ran 360 for the first year or two, and then we put a 410 in and haven't really ever looked back.
What was your first reaction to when you put your foot down?
I was scared shitless. Yeah. It's like trying to control something that's uncontrollable. Yeah,
that's a pretty common theme with all the drivers, that they're almost uncontrollable beasts.
They are. You're pretty much just trying to hang on to something that theoretically wants to kill you.
Yeah. As I'm getting older, and when you see someone who's really got control of one, it's that's sort of the pinnacle of driving one, isn't it?
Yeah. When they've crafted that art of how to drive one and hang on to it and position it where they want it. It's a fine art to do, and once you accomplish that, and they are like an armchair when you get them right.
Yeah. They're such a crazy car in the sense of there's not a whole heap of technology in them whatsoever, but they're also such a wild car in terms of setups and stuff like that as well.
They're a very simple car, but then people do overcomplicate them. They're always trying things, which in any sport people do, but they are, when you look at them, they are a very basic object.
Yeah, that's what me and James probably spoke about. You could put a 70s sprint car next to this and you'll still recognise it. Yep. Compared to other forms of motorsport, which have just vastly changed so much that we're still very much in the narrow roots of where it started.
Yeah, we are. Very similar concept, but everything's obviously got a little bit flashier and shinier, and but the whole concept hasn't changed.
That's more where the technology's come from, is the parts of some of the stuff that's getting made. It's not, the technology hasn't gone into the car per se.
It's just they've changed different objects, the brakes work better and different things with titanium, etc. But the whole concept hasn't changed.
So how long did it take you to sort of settle in as such, or if you ever do, really?
I don't think I've quite settled in yet. I actually, I've probably, first skid was about eight years ago, but I raced pretty sporadically there for a while and had a few years off. So it's only been really the last 3 years that I've been racing consistently, year after year, and doing 30 shows a year as such, that I'm starting to now get a better understanding and feel of the car, and being able to work on my style of driving to suit the car or adjust the car to my driving style. So
it's a big learning curve, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Luckily enough, I've had good people behind me that have given good direction. But if you're not doing it consistently, it's hard to get a feel for it. It's like starting again every time. And that's what I found. The time that I had off, I'd race a year, do 10 shows, have a year off. The year I started again, it was like starting from scratch. Yeah. It's all about seat time. It's no different than anything else. The more you do it, obviously the better you're going to get at it. So
is that obviously with life as well, 30 shows is sort of your limit?
I'd like to do more, and I'm trying to work out how I can do more. I'm very time poor with business wise, especially now with circumstances that I'm in. We would like to do more. I'd like to push to do 40 plus, or even go to America if the opportunity came. But it all is work related.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to look after that end of life as well, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool to go to America and run for a year or something like that, but your priorities are right.
Yeah, priorities work. At the end of the day, you can't do this forever. So you've still got to set yourself up with a future for after racing, even though you love it to bits and you think you can't do life without it.
Yeah.
But end of the day, we got families. I haven't got kids yet, but if I want to have kids, you want to give them a good lifestyle afterwards as well. So you got to sort of set yourself up.
Yeah, that's right. Have you sort of looked at any potential parts of America that you'd sort of target, or a bit of a series? Or
haven't given a huge amount of thought. Would love to go over and just do it. Of course, there's bucket list tracks that you'd love to go and run at, but I think the fact that how often they run over there, just to go over and do seat time, would be more beneficial for our season here. Just especially with the lack of racing I did early on in my career.
Yeah.
Just trying to compensate that factor of it.
Yeah. I always think about when guys say about going to America, sure, we all want to go to Outlaws and stuff like that too, but I always think about just find some state with some local track that runs every week and just go hide in middle of Ohio where no one knows that you're there. There's no fanfare around it, or anyone knows you've even gone over there to run or anything like that. You could quite easily go over there and hide and run a season of 30, 40 shows as well.
And that would be something that I'd like to do probably. I don't know if I'd like to go out in the spotlight. I'd just sort of like to go and do my thing. Something like Ohio or California or something, and just go and run your couple of shows every week and find a job during the week to do or something, and just sort of enjoy it and try and do your 40 or 50 shows and come home, because it's going to benefit you a great deal.
Yeah, go there a name change or something like that.
Yeah.
run an alias or something like that. Yeah, California's pretty cool. At least you got the beach and all that sort of stuff there too. But yeah, probably middle country Ohio is probably maybe a bit more suited. Well, with what you've got around you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely something it's on the list, but it's not too high on the priority list either. No,
it's not high on the priority list. I'd love to do it, but a lot of things have got to fall into place for me to do that. So it'd be ideal to go and do it, but I'm not going to lose any sleep if I don't.
Yeah, because one of the things I've heard is a lot of guys saying too that they're considering taking the money that they would spend on their Australian season and just take the same amount of money and go run in America. They won't. Obviously, the season won't be as long as what ours is in Australia, but they'll run way more shows in a short amount of time for the same money.
Yeah, it's a bit of a common conversation going on at the moment with how our sport's going in Australia. I have actually given it some thought myself as well, as just sending all my equipment over there, flying over, racing for a period, flying back and just doing a few stints, doing the same amount of racing, essentially less cost. But you'd have to look at all the little expenses and different things to work out whether it is actually viable. Obviously, it's cheaper to race over there, but they don't earn the same amount of money. Everything's relative, so it's...
And the 5 days in between too, what are you doing for those 5 days in between too?
Yeah. So it's all that, getting your visas, everything. It's all easy to talk about it, but when it actually comes to making it happen, I think there's a little bit more involved.
Yeah, until you start sort of ticking off all those little items and stuff. It's easy enough to say, throw in a container and go, but it's those sorts of days are... Unless you're completely loaded, but I'm assuming you'd get bored by not doing something as well.
Oh yeah, I can't sit still, so you probably see me, I'll sit here fidgeting the whole time, but I'm basically workaholic. I don't sit still, don't watch TV, funnily enough. I don't, Mrs. finds it funny that she's in there most nights by herself and I'm either out here or I'm out in the farm or I'm giving a mate a hand doing something, so
How many acres are you on here?
I got 50 acres here.
Yeah, right.
So a few head of cattle on here, and it's good to stretch the legs and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, right. So you wouldn't even know what Yellowstone is then, would you? No, yeah, right. So, Alright, so I can't even make jokes about that then.
No, can't make jokes about that. You probably could. I'd have to Google it later or something.
Yeah, bucks and misses.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you'd be ringing me up saying
What the hell is this?
Yeah. Nah. You seem like, obviously, I can tell that you're a workaholic, but you seem like you've got a decent lifestyle, like work-life balance as well.
Yeah.
Is this stressful as well though? Like,
not as much. I actually enjoy this side of things. Everyone gets carried on about the workload of the cars, but I think there's nothing better than getting home from work and stressful day and cracking a beer and work on the car in the shed, and yeah, whether it's by yourself or a few mates turn up, like you can enjoy a beer and just have a bit of fun. Like, I don't think there's anything better.
yeah. Are you of the thing of like there's 40 hours plus in maintenance a week?
Oh, guaranteed. I can tell you that for a fact. Even after racing last weekend, and like, hats off to Warrnambool finishing early. It was great to get home before midnight for a change. But it was all Sunday, and then I reckon I did a few hours Monday and Tuesday night, and then I had Mark come out Wednesday night, and I think we started at 5 o'clock Wednesday night, and we both didn't finish tonight. I think we had a beer at 9 o'clock, and with tyres, maintenance, grooving, everything. Yeah, there's a good 30 hours plus every week between shows.
Yeah, right.
So when you do your 60 hours a week or plus at work and then come home and try and find another 30, it can be a big week sometimes.
Yeah.
That's without things going wrong too.
I always think about, like, where's that 40 hours of maintenance between shows, like when you're running back-to-back nights? Like, it seems to go out the window pretty quick.
Yeah, some people skip certain jobs, but generally when you think you got back-to-back nights, usually you've got 3 or 4 people with you. So you work at the fact that you don't always wash them as good when you run back-to-back shows, or sometimes you don't wash your tyres because you unmount and mount new ones anyway. So you save time, effort there. There's little things that get skipped, but you work it out that, like, generally you've got time you sleep and do a few things. It's 12 hours between shows, and if you got 3 or 4 people working on it, it's pretty quickly the time adds up. So
yeah. So you like coming in, like, tinkering. So you're obviously still learning stuff on the car, like, as you're going. Like, you haven't fully nailed everything yet.
No one's ever fully nailed it.
Yeah.
If you're never done learning, person that tells you that they're done learning's bloody a little bit silly. But no, there's always something you learn. I love tinkering. I love trying things. Whether it's putting the car on the scales and putting a turn here, a turn there, and working out what it does, and even to the fact of dynoing shocks and tuning. And you're always learning something. You always got notes you can go back to. And but yeah, it's fun. I love it.
So you're, like, mechanically minded from...
Yeah, fair bit self-taught and taught from others, but yeah, I'm very mechanically minded and good at problem solving. So if there's something that problem arises, you work out a solution. Might not be the right one, but you figure it out.
Yeah. So there's all the mechanical workings, like, that intrigues your brain.
Yeah.
I think that's where you're at.
Yeah. Something goes wrong, or how do you fix it? That's what sort of flicks my switch, trying to problem solve how you can fix it or rectify the issue.
So then at work, you're, like, office-based, like, behind the computer kind of thing?
Yep. So I'm basically, role sort of changed a little bit. I was just logistics and compliance sort of thing beforehand, where now I'm basically running everything as such. I get people under me, which I sort of pass things off to. But yeah, I'm basically office-based. I did used to do a bit of driving, but yeah, probably not as much as I get to now. Yeah,
so then you go from, like, being behind the computer and on the phone and stuff, and then you get to come home and, like, pick up a spanner, and it's like,
it's a relief. Yeah, it's like stress relief. Like I said, you deal with people all day, and your phone doesn't stop, and you're in front of a computer screen, and get home and crack a beer or whatever you do, and spin a spanner. It's I don't think there's anything more therapeutic at times.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just trying to, like, sort of gauge, like, where you're... It seems like you've obviously got, like sort of best of both worlds in terms of what you do with the business, and then come back to being mechanically minded, because there's, a lot of people I know, they're either one or the other, and there's not very many people that are sort of both.
I really don't like being stuck behind the office, but it's a job that needs to be done, and unfortunately without the job that I do, I couldn't probably afford to do this. So it's best of both worlds, but unfortunately, you give up one, you got to give up the other. So
yeah. So did you with the family business, like in transport, you obviously on the road a lot as a kid as well? Or?
Yeah, yep. It was a lot different back when I was a kid. The old man was away a lot. Growing up, school holidays, you're in the truck with him and travelling a lot. It was good. Got to see lots of countryside and then, probably did a few little naughty things as I got a bit older and let me drive a few times without a licence and this and that. And I remember doing a few trips in Brisbane. And
allegedly?
Yeah. Maybe he would have got knackered or something and we were out in the middle of nowhere and he goes, "Oh, you have a drive. I'll sit over here." And it was good. It was always good bonding and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Do you love the travel, like even now?
Yeah, I love it. I love jumping in the truck on a Saturday and going for a drive.
Yeah.
So everyone offers to drive, but no, I love it. I love getting in the truck and going for a drive. And, I don't know, it's something about it. I don't know, I've just grown up around it. I think it's just a natural thing.
Just crank the tunes and
pretty much. Just enjoy it. Throw the phone in the bunk. I'm a bit of everything, but a bit of country doesn't go astray.
Yeah. It makes the K's easier, I reckon, eh?
Yeah.
Who's your go-to?
Oh, I'm between a few at the moment. I hate saying, but either Morgan Wallen or a few others. There's some good ones out there at the moment. So I'm not sort of a one person. Just put it on random and let it go.
Yeah, let K's one down. So you're fine with the driving after a meeting? Like, do you go Motor Bridge back to here?
Yeah, every time.
Yeah,
every time. Every time it's you get home 4 a.m. and
up early or something. Sutherland chasing each other or something?
Yeah, pretty much. It's usually the race to get home.
Yeah.
Used to be alright, the old truck, she didn't have a speed limiter in it, so we always won the race home, but now in the new girl, she's got a speed limiter, so she's not real fun, but you just sit there and crank the tunes and enjoy the trip.
She's a nice rig, the new one.
Yeah, it's good. Put a lot of time and effort into it. Probably should have done it quite a few years ago, but old man just couldn't bite the bullet with it at the time, and it's probably the best thing in the end we got. We've had it for 2 years now, and it makes it so much more enjoyable. Even for crew coming, like we got beds and shower and that, and like the other week at Avalon, we just decided that after the race and that we all wanted to have a few beers and we had a shower and we parked up and camped and come home the next morning, and it's convenient. You're not rushing to a hotel room and spending 6 hours there, so it's it makes it enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that everyone's gone down that road of having showers and stuff now. It's so much easier to travel. You can you pull up anywhere and shower?
Yeah,
so
do anything.
Just truck for as long as you want, and if you're not going to make it, just pull over.
Yeah, and same with 2 night shows now. Where once upon a time you had to leave the track and go to a hotel room, which like I said, you spent 5-6 hours in, then you're back at the track. Literally, you're showering and sleeping, and you're paying $200 for a couple of rooms a night. It's not a cheap exercise, your accommodation, if you're on the road. So it makes it good. A couple of times last year, the Classic and that, we just all camped in it. We carry a little barbecue and someone gets on the cook and everyone works.
It's kind of going back to the old ways of speedways, isn't it? People used to do that, but they obviously didn't have showers in trailers and stuff like that. Open trailers, but everyone used to just throw a tent out and stay the weekend.
Yeah, it's a bit of glorified camping, call it glamping or whatever you want to call it, but it is enjoyable. It's and even just the banter you have with the crew afterwards, and all hang around and have a beer and just enjoy it. I think that's the bit that everyone forgets to have fun when they do it. At the end of the day, there's not many people in Australia doing it professionally. It's a hobby sport. You got to remember to have fun sometimes. And I got to remind myself when we do it. Sometimes you get a little bit worked up and hot under the collar, and you got to remember it's a hobby. None of us are really making any money off doing it.
Yeah. I understand the guys who are far away from a track that have got a jet straight away, but it's the guys who don't and sort of, for whatever reason, don't hang around and stuff like that, and the fans come rushing in the pits and there's just haulers that are just pulling out straight away. It's kind of gets disappointing sometimes.
Yeah, it's not good for a crowd's perspective. They've paid to come in and watch the show, and if the show finished late, understandably people want to get home. I know a lot of the time when we finish at Murray Bridge, we just want to get the hell out of there because it's usually midnight, and the more you stick around, the later you get home, and the harder it is with wildlife, etc. But other nights when they finish at a reasonable time, it's good to hang around and interact with people, and because at the end of the day, that's the future of the sport. If we haven't got spectators or crowd, there's not people on the hill. Well, it's not going anywhere. No one's promoting, no one's enjoying it, so there's no point us being out there racing.
Yeah. So the new trailer's taken the stress off travelling in that sense, like.
Yeah, it's easier. Like the little truck's good. You can turn up, park anywhere, and do anything. But like you can just roll. You have a good night or a bad night.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You just roll it in the trailer, and it's easy. You don't have to pull it down. You don't have to do this. Like it's it makes things enjoyable. You're spacious. You're not crammed on each other, and
some dusty old hotel.
Yeah, or some dodgy hotel that you're in that you're not sure if they've washed the sheets or what for a while. Or yeah, it is good. It makes it enjoyable. I know it's a huge expense, but end of the day, they're a business expense. Really, you're not going to lose money on them. Like they're only getting dearer and dearer. So
you got pressure washer in it?
I do actually.
Yeah, so you're set then.
Yeah, we can wash that when we've stayed at tracks overnight. We can wash. We got a couple hundred litre water tank underneath it, either for shower or washing. So yeah, we can hook up and pressure clean.
Yeah, so you're all set going there. Yeah, so you sort of purchased that knowing that you're going to sort of hit a bit more than that 30 shows.
Yeah, purchasing the fact that we wanted to take it to the next level. And simply what we were doing out of our old truck, we couldn't. It was hard to carry a spare car or a motor, and like going to Darwin for 3 weeks and running up there, like you're doing 6 nights, and anything can happen. Anything can happen, and you need to be able to carry it and be comfortable. And that's the biggest thing, and carry enough spares. We went up to Darwin last year, and unfortunately we had a bad run, and we had a part break, and then we got involved in an accident the next week. Well, we ended up destroying 2 cars, and if we were in the old rig, we wouldn't have been able to fix. We just simply wouldn't have had the equipment with us to be able to do it. And with this one, we can replace anything really. We can build a couple of cars. It's for a lot of nights, it is overkill. Don't get me wrong. A lot of club shows, it's overkill carrying a complete car on the mezzanine and stuff like that. But it's there when you need it.
Yeah.
Like you're not jamming everything in the truck, and it's all got its spot, so it's good.
So when you're looking at more shows, are you looking like obviously Australia wide now?
Yeah. We had anticipations on doing World Series. Probably not this year. We did talk about it, but circumstances of what happened, that sort of got put on the back burner before they cancelled it. But we did look at years to come as committing and travelling a lot more. It was something that we wanted to do. It was something that the old man wanted to do. He sort of had stepped away from the business, and he was loving the racing, and essentially I was doing all the work behind the scenes, and he would just get it there and would turn up. So it was going to work out well. It was sort of what he wanted to do as his retirement, just travel around. He loved nothing more than sitting on his mule and talking to people and driving his truck. So that was the plan.
So you look like Queensland, because obviously living in Mt Gambier, you're like in such a perfect place to go. Sort of the amount of stuff you got through Victoria is like unreal, and then obviously you shoot down to Murray Bridge too, Bordertown. That's 2 hours from here, 2.5 hours from here.
Yeah.
So you're in like such a primo place to hit all that local sort of stuff.
We're in a great location theoretically. We're a couple of hours from a lot of tracks, and we can be very selective of where we go, what we do, and even going forward, it's not hard for us to go to Queensland or go to the west. Like we're sort of in the middle of everything. We're not travelling all the time, long distances. Unfortunately, a lot of teams do have to travel a long distance a lot. But yeah, it would be something on the agenda that would go up and down the east coast and over the west when it come. And it was something we'd like to do.
Because Warrnambool was 2 hours from here, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got that. So yeah. It's such a
be great when Bordertown's open. Like a couple of hours Warrnambool, a couple of hours Bordertown, and yeah, you can.
There's going to be some like sweet like triple headers or something like that, or like multiple nights on that sort of run from through there. Like
it would be good. It used to happen a lot. Like back when Speedway City was going on, I remember we used to run at Speedway City a lot on a Friday night. Then it was Murray Bridge on a Saturday. So we sort of miss that double header stuff on weekends. Like at the moment, we're all just sort of weekend warriors, really, because there's only really 1 month of the year that there's midweek shows essentially. So, which is disappointing. It would be nice if there was more double headers. Like you put all this effort in for one night of race in a week. So
yeah, I was thinking about this the other night too after a few beers, so it probably wasn't a great time. But it's like I was wondering if like, not from a driver perspective, but like as a team's perspective, like is the skill sort of dropping away from teams from not doing those multiple nights back to back? Because like, you know, you get to do a night and then you come back on the Sunday and you wash and stuff, whereas like if you're doing a double header, that next morning is probably a lot different team vibe too. Like everyone's probably tired, but then you're doing maintenance anyway, and it's like not a lot of that sort of stuff's going on anymore too. Whereas then, you know, you're going to come to January and you've got a lot of double header nights, and it's like the team's sort of only doing that for like maybe 1.5 months of the year kind of thing.
Yeah, it does make it easier doing the double headers, especially from a fact when you're only racing weekend to weekend, people can lose interest. Just even crew-wise, you're sort of a little bit scattered. Like you get your committed ones, but then you don't get, if you're racing multiple nights, they're locked in for those couple of nights. Everyone gets familiar with each other, and people have got lifestyles as well. So if they don't committed, or if you're only racing one weekend here or there, they might go, oh, this pops up, I'll always come next weekend. But if you got a couple of night shows, people might be more committed. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because we don't do it enough.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like over that Christmas to end of January period, most people are around. Everyone's around big shows. You've generally got the same crew the whole time. Where it's weekend to weekend, it's you more pick who's available. Like you've got your consistent ones, but yeah, you get a few seat fillers at times.
Yeah. So you got a like reasonably steady crew?
Yeah, I do. I'm good. Got good support. So I got a few people that come and go, which is understandable. They got race commitments as well and lifestyle, and end of the day they're only helping. Like I don't get dirty on them if they can't come. I understand they got commitments, but yeah, I appreciate what they do. Like, and especially the same, like I got Mark, Steve's old man. He comes out and he's been showing a lot of interest lately, which has been great. Like he comes out during the week and helps, and on Sunday came out and helped washed and did everything, and
so
he goes long way.
Crew chiefing for you as such, or
he doesn't claim to be a crew chief. He's I don't know if he ever really wanted to be, or he's just there. He knows a lot, and he's very switched on. And there's a couple of us that work it out. I got a mate from Darwin. He's been helping us the last couple of years, so it's good when we go there. We get a place to stay, and he's came down. He's flown down for a couple of shows this year, and they're basically going to live here from Christmas time till I think end of March. They sort of have that period off, and they hate the wet season up there, and they get down here and they stay out here, and it's good. So between all of us, we sort of just make it happen. We haven't really got a crew chief as such. I'm the one that sort of makes the calls at the end of the day, which don't always make the right one. But between us all, we sort of get it right. But yeah, we've got a few that, like Brad Turnbull, he's jumped into Formula 500 this year. He helps out a bit. Kirby Hillier, well, he's racing, and so it's understandable. They got their passion they want to do as well. And there's a couple of others that come and go. Like brother-in-law's recently moved home from WA, and he's loving coming. So he's been coming all year, and doesn't know a whole lot at the moment, but we're teaching him. But he's getting there.
You just need the guy though too, eh?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a consistent person, it doesn't matter sort of as much. It's like if they're just going to be there. Like sometimes you just you need that guy. Like,
and he's great at filling eskies and emptying them, but he's learning.
You definitely need that guy.
He's good. So he's good. So he's learning, and but whether it's scraping mud or making food or whatever it is, you need everyone there. Like sometimes you think you get too many people, which you can if they all haven't got a role. But if everyone's contributing, it doesn't matter whether you got 2 or you got 5. You still get it done. Like I've been to races with just one person before, and it's a shit show, but you make it happen. You're all there to go racing, so.
Yeah, right. So when you're saying that you've made the wrong decisions, like in terms of setup, do you remember like any like real big ones that you've made, or like we're just talking like small?
There's probably been big ones that I've made, but none coming to memory. But just little things. You go out and you misread the track, and you can be miles too tight or miles too free, and you roll out and you buzz it up, and you know straight away, and within a lap of your race you got the wing in the trunk, and you know it's going to be hell for whether it's 10 laps or 20 or the feature. So, but it's all a learning curve because everyone does everything differently. And with these things, there's 10 ways you can achieve the common goal. So people will change bars or they'll change shockers or whatever it is, but it's more to suit the driver. If your driver's comfortable, and I might like one thing where another guy might like something else. So you just got to know what you like and go from there.
Because not that I've driven one or anything like that, but I don't believe in like the perfect setup. So I think it's just
never the perfect setup.
Such a small window, and then I always think about when I seen Michael Pickens had won 200 features in a midget, and just New Zealand alone. I was like, there's no way that car's perfect for 200 features. Like there must have been some features there where the car was a million miles off, but he still won it. Like
a lot of it comes back to driver, their mindset. You got to have a lot of things going right, luck, but you can get the car within a window. And then a lot of the time, people go to places with a very similar setup. They start in most places the same place. And obviously gear ratios will be different, but they just change little things. They'll go out with a standard setup or what knowledge they've got from last time, they tweak it. And it's all to do track conditions. Like the track's super heavy, and guarantee you they're not running a slick setup on that. So it's making all the adjustments to suit.
Can you walk up and down the pits too and look at someone's car and you know what way they're sort of leaning towards setup and stuff?
You can walk past them and you can get a little bit of a gauge, but without running a tape over it, because
just picturing people doing that, yeah.
People, there's sometimes people do things in the pits that is more of an image thing to distract you from what they're actually doing.
Yeah, I've done that with someone with the Formula 500. Did the old ghost gear change and watched everyone else change, and we put the same gears back on. Yeah. So I know there's certain people that have got different things welded on their car or this and that, and it looks different, but it's achieving the same thing as what they had before, but it's distracting people from what they're actually doing. So there's all those little games that go on.
Like someone will be changing a shock and they're putting a different shock on them, but it's got the same valving in it, it's the same reading. All it is a mindset.
Yeah. So, I love it. I love all that shit. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like, you probably don't from your driving perspective, but it's like...
I don't really get involved with it. Everyone's got to do their own thing. Like, if they're going to go and do that and they can make it work, good on them. But end of the day, it's really what suits the driver. Yeah. Unless it's going to benefit me as a driver, well, I don't know because I'm not in their car, but I've just got to worry about getting myself right.
I always think too, if you've got the time to do that stuff, you must be doing something right too. If you can go out and do a fake shock change or something like that, you've got a lot of time to spend in doing it. But
a lot of the guys, they try and get in each other's heads and that, because they want to psych each other out. They just want to find that little edge. Everyone's looking for that 10th. Yeah. Not even the 10th nowadays. They're looking for that minuscule little thing they can find to make themselves quicker, whether it's psyching someone out, whether it's the driver likes a certain sock or underwear or whatever it is. It's whatever makes you go fast.
What are you?
Nah, I can't tell that.
Okay. Right.
Nah, I've got nothing. Nothing.
There's no game day ritual?
Nah.
No.
None. Just try and stay relaxed and think about what you could do. Sort of don't really get to stop and actually think about it, really. There's always something to think about, whether it's getting organised or making sure everyone's done it. I haven't got the luxury of just jumping in a car and driving it like a few people have got. There's a few around that they don't lay a finger on it, they just hop in and steer it.
I don't think that would sit well with you anyway, though.
It doesn't. I've tried it once or twice. I've had people crew or when I've driven someone else's car. It's an unsettling feeling at times. I don't know, that might be a control factor, but I like to know what I've got.
Yeah.
I like to know that if I roll out on the track, and there's got to be a reason to why we're not good or why we're loose or what it is. Whether it's a tyre not coming on, your spacing's not right, you're too heavily sprung, whatever it is, I like to know, because you can learn from it. You can learn if your tyre's sealed over. Why did it seal over? Well, it's been through too many heat cycles, or someone didn't buff it, or whatever it is. There's got to be a reason for it. So
Yeah, I think like the only time, like I could be wrong, but the only time someone like yourself could jump into another person's car would have to be like one of the big teams, like one of the teams that you know that car's a top tier car that you could like comfortably get in it and know that like the brakes work and like it's been serviced and everything. Like
Yeah, you're probably dead right. Something that you know is renowned for being good, and you're only going to have to give them feedback. And hey, don't get me wrong, that would be good at times. It would take a lot of pressure off. But unfortunately now with what's going on in Australia with racing, there's not those rides around anymore. You look back 10 years, there was a lot of rides available. There was a lot of people that were only drivers, where you look back now, there's a lot of people are driving for their own teams now. There's not those big rides around. And I don't know if it's the cost of it or people losing interest. It's probably a bit of both. The big teams aren't around it, and there's not hired drivers as such.
Yeah, because like in a sense too, like what's the reward for being a car owner? Like really, like I mean, especially like if you're like a legit car owner and you're not the one driving it, it's like what's the reward for spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to no doubt you'd be the same as a car owner. You'd love to win a classic as a car owner, like or anything like that. I'm the same, but it's like to still spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for that chance. It's like, yeah, you've got to really love it to be a car owner.
You do. They're a special breed, and our sport appreciates them. There's probably not enough of them around, but I think they do it for the love of it. A lot of people they just love the sport. They've got good businesses behind them. They want some form of enjoyment, and that's their enjoyment. They love having a car on the track, whether it's the fact that they can't drive one themselves or they haven't got a child that's interested or whatever it is. There's not enough of them. And speaking for the fact, I probably couldn't be a car owner if I wasn't driving it. It's not a selfish thing. It's just that I work hard to go on race for myself, and had this discussion at times and about putting someone in it, and I don't think it would benefit me greatly. I don't know if you're an owner and you are a driver. I don't know if you'd learn a whole lot from it. You might, but everyone's different. I personally couldn't do it. It's not from a cost perspective, it's probably just more of an enjoyment. I'd rather be in it than watching someone do it in my own car, sort of thing. It's that's an interesting situation.
Yeah, that's probably the I mean, I think we can all see some sort of financial shit show going on in the world coming, and probably like one of the worrying factors for me, working construction as well, seeing the amount of stuff that's like had the brakes pumped on it throughout Adelaide, like when it's like the big boys have like pulled the pin on building a mansion or something like that, they're sort of like the warning signs to me that something's not great across the board, like money wise. It's not just it's not just like the little guys who are struggling to like make ends meet. It's like everyone sort of seems to be hurting at the moment.
It's everywhere at the moment. It's in every industry, and we've seen it a lot. Like with transport's down 30% on last year at this stage.
Right.
And we cover all aspects with general freight to line haul with big jobs. And there's a lot of people, whether it's growers or that, they're not spending the money on fertiliser this year. They're not doing this. Pubs aren't selling alcohol as much. It's from every aspect that we've noticed that it isn't as busy as what it was this time last year. And I think it's got a lot to do with the cost of living, interest rates, you name it. It's people are prioritising what they spend their money on.
Yeah. And I think like we spoke about it before about like the crowds on the hill, and it's like, man, it's like a struggle to take a family out to anything at the moment, let alone Speedway for the night. Like,
yeah, I could see that a family would easily spend $200 to go to Speedway on a Saturday night, and they could get a lot more elsewhere. So it's understandable that crowd numbers are down. Hopefully over January and that, when the bigger shows are on, you'll see the crowds and the diehards, and but yeah, it is a struggle for people, especially with the cost of everything. You can't blame the tracks for putting it up. Like, it's costing them more to run the events. It's costing them more to cater. But yeah, it's just the cost of everything is just a little bit out of control in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see it coming down anytime soon either. So,
No, unfortunately, everything's up there now. It's like it's the new norm that a lot of people, or even from a supplier perspective, that I think they've struggled to bring it down. They've got it up there and people have been paying for it. And
yeah, that's where it will stay.
yeah, it will stay even whether some of their costs drop to manufacture things. I don't think the cost will come down.
Yeah, not that we manufacture a whole heap in Australia
Yeah,
anymore, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I see. It's like, we've seen over the summer, like, I know of one team that packed up from Queensland too, that, they were car owners, and it's like they were doing it for the love of it, and it's like for no return, and then it's like, everyone's sort of hurting, and it's like the toys are going to be the first thing to go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not the return in our sport in Australia, so it's understandable
It's
that.
not even the return in America though. That's the other thing too. Like,
Yeah, there's not the return.
There's money to be made, but it's not.
Yeah.
No way is it paying you.
But our costs are a lot more over here. Like you said, we don't manufacture enough here, so we're dictated to a little bit with cost of things, whether it's tyres or whatever it is. Some of the costs are getting outrageous, and it's understandable that car owners are walking away, or people are selling them, even budget racers that work on wages and try and race. It's understandable that they're leaving them in the shed, or I've never seen so much stuff for sale on Marketplace in my life. It's ridiculous, people trying to offload stuff. So it's definitely interesting times. Be interesting to see where we're at in 12 months, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's probably definitely a concern from a guy who decided to spend a shitload of money to start a Speedway podcast.
Yeah. But hey, we could all say it though. We all say it. We're all racing. It's the same. We're a bit more selective of what we're doing this year. I know that we had certain events that we contemplated doing that it's just not even worth going to. Whether it's that the track conditions are going to be terrible, or venue conditions, or it's just too hard. Like cost wise, you got to be a little bit smarter what you do. Go to tracks that are going to put on good racing and that reward you for being there.
Yeah. So when you're talking, you just mentioned about engines, so like budget races. What's your thoughts on the LS motor?
I believe they should be their own category.
Yeah.
They're unfortunately, my opinion, but they're devaluing everyone's 360s. Everyone's put a lot of money into having a 360, and they are a good class. Yes, numbers were down. They're supposed to be budget class, but it's like anything. The LS class is supposed to be budget class, but there's guys out there spending big money on LSs. But I just put it back to the fact that in America, you got your 3 different classes or more. I think they should be in their own class, in my opinion. It'd probably upset a few, but we've all got 360 motors that they're just as competitive, don't get me wrong, but we're spending a lot more money on them. And for less nights too. Like they're getting a lot more nights on their LSs from what I'm told. So yes, it is good on a budget perspective, but I think people need to be given the choice.
Yeah. So it's not something you'll consider doing anytime soon?
No, I got a 360 motor. I'm actually just looking at it at the moment, and it's just been sitting there, and it can stay there. I think we'll probably only run 1 or 2 360 shows this year, and it's not something I consider the LS. I don't think, no.
No. Yeah, I think when it was first sort of coming, it seemed like a great budget idea, and as it's starting to take off more and more now, it's already starting to get out of control.
Because at the end of the day, the cost of running your car, your motor cost is a big thing, but it's everything else. We're all still running the same tyres, and some of those LS cars that are out there now are all still running the best stuff. They got Smith brakes, they got this, they got that. You're saving yourself quite a few $1,000s on your motor, but your car's still the same as what we're running with a 410. So it's it was a great idea at the time, but I'm not sure. It's hard to stay politically correct in this matter, but
I think we're thinking the exact same thing.
It's I don't know. I don't agree with how things have gone about the situation with the whole 360 division.
Yeah, because like the 305s in America, the big 305 engine builder, Salina, his 305 motor is 30 grand American. And everyone talks about that being a budget class. And it's like how's 30 grand, like, you know, knowing what the average American earns, 30 grand's a shitload of money over there. Like, that's still, okay, it's not the 110 you're paying for a 410, but 30 grand's still a fair whack of money over there.
Yep.
Like, it's not,
yeah. And America's not paying 110 for a new motor over there, like, but yeah, it's still a fair whack of money. But then you go to your 360, which is more, and obviously, but I think we need levels, and I think that's the thing. I think we need to have the 3 divisions. We had them beforehand, so I know they're trying to bulk the numbers up, but I don't know why we had to join the 2 classes. Obviously, someone further up had better ideas, but you can obviously see by we attended the 360 or the Pro Sprint title, Aussie title at Mowbridge last year, and they combined them, and I think there was only 2 LSs there, and the numbers were actually less than the previous year. So it didn't.
I know one of those motors was a ring-in like the week before as
well.
Yeah,
I could name the car that was a ring-in, and it was only purely fact that they couldn't get a 360 motor that they tried in LS. And be interesting to know what their opinion was on it. Right.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. I don't want to name him. Well, I mean,
I know who it is, but I just think I understand what they're trying to do and make no numbers and that, but I think that they should have just made that class a budget class and should control it a bit more. Yeah,
I'm the same. So I've spoken heaps about wingless. So I've admit to it, I knock the piss out of wingless heaps because of the motor choice. I think they should be V8. Because it's the hardest thing for me is watching streaming from America of USAC, and then you go to the track and you watch our wingless.
It's a piss take.
Yeah, it's very hard. And I'm not taking anything away from the guys who spend their hard-earned dollars to put them on. And, to be honest, some of the best racing I've seen has been from our winglesses. You look at the stuff they put on at Chariots this year. The racing was top-notch. It had nothing to do with the fact that they're a V6 or anything like that.
No, the racing's good. They've always got good racing wherever you go. But I still solely believe, I reckon they should have an LS in them.
Yeah, I think so too. So what I was going to say was, I think they should have the LS in them and not be able to put a wing on it. If you're going to run everyone talks about the CT 525.
Yeah.
If you're going to put that in the non-wing, you cannot put a wing on it and come run.
Yeah.
There's got to be something or
even make 2 divisions with them. Even have your basic division with the V6, and then you go to your Division 2 or whatever it is with with a LS motor in it. Yeah. I reckon that'd be good fun. I reckon you'd find a lot of people would buy one and do it.
You'd run both?
I'd give it some thought, yeah. I'd give it some thought. With the amount of racing they've got.
I reckon you're about the 11th driver who said you'd do it.
Yeah, for fun. I reckon you're on the money there. It would be fun. Yeah. I'd love to take the wings off this. It'd be dangerous, but I reckon it'd be good fun.
I spoke to a driver who he said if we had the LS non-wing, he'd carry both with his 410, and there'd be nights where you can run both for sure. And he said he'd just carry both and run.
Yeah, we would probably do the same. Yep. There's plenty of racing around. The guys have got heaps of racing.
Yeah, I know. I actually said to someone the other day, I don't want to name him, he runs a different class throughout Victoria, and I said, really, for you not running a wingless in Victoria, you're kind of stupid. If you just want to go race, the amount of racing you can do through Victoria in a wingless is it's out of control.
And they got good car numbers. Yeah. Good car numbers, and they always put on a good show. Yeah. But engine choice is a little bit. Yeah, it's a debatable topic.
It's huge. I've ruffled some mad feathers talking about it, but it's only because I don't know. It's hard, and at the same time too, I've said I don't want to see them go to LS and then the class dies as well. I don't want to see them go away either, because I think with the way things are going in Speedway, we need every single car we can out there across multiple divisions. We don't want to see it just dwindle away to nothing.
But I think if you gave them the option of having 2 divisions with it, you could get people to pick, and it would be very interesting to see what happen.
Yeah, I think you really need to control that LS motor somehow, though. Somehow really clamp down on it, because I know that the guys are all saying they get the 40 nights out of it, but then you're hearing things that guys are sort of opening up those motors and they're getting back to 30, 25.
Yeah.
And it's soon enough that'll be back to the 12.
I don't know if they're being checked enough is the problem. So it'd be very interesting long term how it all goes. It's like everything. Numbers are relative to the cost at the moment. I remember when they first changed it all over, about 2 years ago, we went to a show when they were running the 360s and 360s and pro sprints against each other. They had 40 plus cars there, and then the other week we went there and they barely had 25. So it's all relative, and yeah, I understand it that they're joining the two classes, trying to get more numbers. But the numbers are down at the moment because of the cost. It's not the fact people don't want to go racing. It's the fact they can't afford to do it.
So if you think like combining the LS and the 360 is controversial, did you see what happened in Perth on the weekend?
I didn't see what happened in Perth.
No, I don't want to say it because I'll tell you after. Like that's very. I don't understand it, but
yeah, right.
I'll tell you after. So is there anything else that you want to drive in Speedway or like in general?
I'd love to have a go on a speed car. I reckon that'd be good fun. I reckon they're loose. I reckon that'd be a wow of a time.
Yeah. So Chili Bob, maybe that's
that's probably a bucket list thing. I don't know if I'd ever get to do it, but I reckon that'd be good fun. Yeah.
You know, it's a big party, right?
Oh yeah. I actually too get on YouTube a bit and watch the USAT racing, and I reckon some of the midget racing's awesome. It's better than some of the sprint car racing over there. The big tracks and that, they after a while they get a little bit boring. That it's not a whole lot of passing unless you get the little ones. They're good to watch at times, but it doesn't matter where you go. It seems to be always good midget racing. So. And they're big over there.
Yeah, and they got the 2 series going now too. They're sort of competing it, sort of bringing it back. Sort of
yeah, so that's probably the only thing I reckon I'd love to have a go in. Besides from that, I don't know.
Yeah, I could see you in a speed car.
I reckon it'd be good fun.
Yeah. What's your favourite track? Obviously Borderline.
Yeah, Borderline. Yeah. Just venue. It's always good racing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a little too hooked up for the size of the track, but I think it's just where we are and the weather we get. It's quite often it's wet, it's cold, and the time of the year the events are on. Yeah. But I've been there going there my whole life, and it's always been good racing.
Yeah.
Good racing, and say that probably there, or if not, it'd be Darwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, going up there, I love that venue. It's good fun. They generally always put on good racing, and facilities are A1. You can't fault them.
Yeah, I haven't been there since I was a kid, so I haven't.
They've put a lot of effort in there, and it's hats off to them really. Like having concrete pads at every bay and pits all bituminized, and track facilities are good, and it's always a good time of year to go up there. Everyone's there for the same reason, so instead of the very end of the night where everyone rushes off, everyone sort of sticks around, has a beer together, and the weather's good, so. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're still in shorts and singlets. It's hard to knock.
Is that the what's the word like? Is that like sort of probably the general vibe up there of like everyone hanging around after? It's like there's no because you're kind of welcomed. Like, there's no pressure on like get out. The lights are turning off, kind of thing. Like other places.
It's I can't remember what time we left the track this year, but there was still plenty of people there, and it was very early hours of the morning. And
it's like the Sunday of the Classic.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's still spectators and people walking around. Like, they'll turn up and you'll run into someone and someone will offer you a beer or whatever it is. And everyone's there, and it's just a relaxed feel. Like, it's just a different style of living up there.
Yeah, I might have to get up there for the next one. Because was one weekend now, isn't it?
The Chariots is one weekend from what I know, but there is always that weekend before, which is I think the NT title and that. So instead of being 3 weekends this year, it'll be 2 for us, 5 nights. So it'd be good if they can work something in with Alice Springs again on the way home. Or
did you run that as well? Did you?
I was meant to, but I was a little bit time restrained, so we actually gave it a miss this year. We had anticipation to do it, we did nominate, but just a few little things cropped up, we couldn't do it. So.
Yeah, so that makes a good little trip as well, kind of thing. Yeah.
And it's good because it's just sort of like the start of it. You get out of the cold weather down here and you get up there and it's like a pre-season sort of thing.
I was going to ask, do you see Chariots as the end of season or start of season?
Start of season. Yeah, like you finish, like most racing finishes around Easter down here. So you've got that that lull period for 3 months where you do majority of your stuff, where your motors get sent off, or you build new cars, or have everything repainted, whatever you do. It's more the start of the season, and it's sort of good. You go up, you do a couple weekends, and then you get time to get back. You have a month off, you regroup, and you go again. It's just it's a good little start to the season, I think.
So you get to try, like, if you chassis changes or anything like that, you just sort of figure all that stuff out.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
it's good because you basically essentially, like looked this year, we did 6 nights in 2 weeks, and track was a little bit different this year to previous years. It changed a lot more. Previous years, what you got that night, the first night, is what you got every night, which was good. This year it changed a bit. Not sure what the deal was there, but it was different each night. But it was good. You're able to try things because you run on the same track consistently. I think it equivalates to doing 10 or 12 nights down here a weekend at a time. So it is a big expense getting there, but you do learn a lot.
What's your favourite sort of style track?
Slick against the fence.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than getting up and ripping around the top and banging the right rear against the fence.
Yeah.
So anyone can run down on the bottom. So but it's good fun getting up there and having a bit of fun.
Have you ever ripped a lap and you're like, whew, that was sick?
You get around sometimes, and
you're like, yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's bloody hot laps, qualifying, CV, A main, whatever it is. You sometimes get around and you can get in and you go, fuck, that was fun. Like, you get in and
feel it,
you feel it and you know it, and hey, you could be dead last, so you still rip a fucking good lap and come in with a smile on your face. Sometimes you get up there, and I know the first few times you get a little bit, oh, is it going to stick? Is it going to stick? But closer you are to the wall, less it hurts, I think.
Yeah. Max Dunsey told me that, eh? He's like, it can't hurt you from a foot away.
No. The closer you are, like, if you're on the bottom and you go up the top, you're going to hurt. Like, but if you're already against it, it's not going to hurt as much.
Yeah.
It may stop you a lot quicker, but...
Have you had any, major tumbles? I've seen you've, been caught up in other people's stuff, but I can't say I've ever seen you go from one where I was like, oh, shit.
I haven't had one in quite a few years. My first year out, I had a big dump at Murray Bridge, actually. Actually half knocked myself out. I had the top of the roll cage hit the concrete.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I could say I got fed a wheel or I rode a wheel, either. Went in the fence head first and bent the car like a banana, and I flattened the top of the roll cage, and that's probably the biggest dump I've had. I've had a few little ones here and there, but touch wood, I can't remember the last car I destroyed. Actually, wearing them out more than putting K-frames and different things in them, and I think this car's 3 years old. It's had a K-frame and a few little things, shocker towers welded on it, but
what brand chassis you going?
I got Cools, so yeah. Luckily enough, I had a couple, and I've still got a brand new one sitting there, so we're all right for a little while. I'm not sure if he's still making or what he's doing, or but in the near future we might have to change to something or give something a go. Yeah,
and obviously carry, which I didn't bother.
Yeah. Kenny and Wenner sorted out with some good motors, and it's a good package.
Yeah, pretty loyal to them, like you.
Yeah, they've been great to me, and oh man, we have a bloke here in the Mount who did build us a 360, and then he's sort of trying to step away from it a little bit. Kenny took on the motor, but he does our 410 work and does a great job. Hats off to him for their customer service. I had a little issue earlier in the year, and we problem solved and tried different things. And at the end of the day, I freighted it up there, and he threw it on the dyno for me, and I sent it up there, had it back in a week, and it was all fixed. And he was great about it. Every time I ring him, I'm on the phone to him for half an hour. It's always a good yak, and you always learn something. He's having a go with the V8 supercar scene, and he's doing good. And for him to still be able to take the time out for someone like me, and
that's cool.
A half hour of his day every time, and it's good. You always learn something, and he's up to the know with everything what's going on, and but it's all personal preference. some people like certain things, other people like other motors, but I reckon they do a great thing.
That's pretty wild that he's on the phone to you for like that, because I'm assuming that he'd be like balls deep with Triple Eight as well.
Yep.
And then he's still on the phone to like the sprint car guy from Mt Gambier.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I don't ring him. I usually just send him a text and say, "Can you give me a ring when you got 5 minutes to talk?" And yeah, you cover a lot of topics when you talk to him. It's great. And he still sends the odd message after a race of the night saying, "You done well," or "How'd the motor go?" And like, it was great. I got the motor back and I ran it at Avalon, and I got a message, I think it was Sunday or Monday, from him and asked how it went. Was there no dramas? And yeah, I think that's great for him. Yeah, so it's customer service goes a long way.
Yeah. Yes, it doesn't matter where you are. It's anything from like a cafe or to sprint car motor.
Yeah, it is good, and yeah, you do appreciate it, and I've learned a lot off him, especially the situation I'm in and different things. He's been very good with different things or trying things, and just to make him that bit better or a bit drivable. There's a lot of little things that you can do to him to achieve what you want. So and a lot of it is personal preference.
So you across all the motor service on your own now?
Yeah, do all that myself. So doing majority of it beforehand, but there was little things that, little tuning things and different things, just that I wasn't, how do you put it, comfortable. I always had someone to bounce ideas off. So now that you're wholly and solely making a decision on your own, you've got to be up with what's going on and sort of can't half-ass it as such.
Got to back yourself as well.
Yeah. So sometimes getting on the phone to someone like him and just going, "Oh, what if we did this? What if we did that? Or how will this affect this?" And yeah, it's good to know. And just numerous times I get on the phone and you just chat away and you don't even realise a half an hour's gone. So
yeah, that's killer. That's wild to think, especially with what he'd have going on, because I'm sure you're the same. You can think about how many motors he's got out there, and there'd be way more than what you can think about or know about. Plus the V8 supercar stuff too. That's pretty wild. It
is good, and yeah, you can tell some days he's got lots going on, or he's on the phone and he's dying on motors or whatever he's doing, but he still makes the time and he talks to you, and it's good. So
it's pretty funny as like I've got no time for V8 supercars at all, but like Speedway's everything to me. And I was actually at Clipsal about 10 years ago or something like that, and the Red Bull team came in the morning, and there was one dude in like a KRE shirt with the team with a laptop, and I was like, man, that's cool. I was like, that's the sprint car like engine guys. I was like, that's cool. Like, I was like more proud of that than like all the rest of there's like 40 engineers or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't know. That's just the way that I was like thinking about it, just because.
Yeah, no, it is good, and they're doing a good thing, and they're having a go, and it's that whole V8 supercar thing's a big deal for them, and I hope it goes well for them.
Yeah. No, can you watch it, or is it?
I struggle to. I'm not a huge V8 supercar person. It might be different if I was at the event, but sitting there watching it on TV, it's not the same.
It's so hard. Like, I'm assuming, like, same as me, you've watched so much Speedway and you can see the whole thing in the one place. You're not just seeing them zip by and then look up at the big screen, watch them zip by. Like, it's... Yeah,
it's not the same. Same thing growing up around Speedway. Always been able to watch the whole racing. You don't often miss a moment. What happens when it's a crash or a pass. I struggle watching either V8 supercars or off-road racing, just because, like you said, you see them for 2 seconds and then you got to wait a couple of minutes and you see them again, and it's not very interesting to me.
The only thing I can watch in off-road racing is like that Crandon International. It's like a big off-road circuit, and it streams the same way like a V8 supercar race or a sprint car race would, like in terms of like multiple cameras.
Yeah, right.
That's the only thing I can watch, because there's like, it's a big circuit but heaps of jumps and stuff like that, and they send like 12 trophy trucks out at the same time.
Yeah, I know the one you're on about now. Yeah,
that's the only thing I can watch. I couldn't sit there and like watch.
That'd probably be good to watch live, but I don't know. I can't really watch a whole lot of other racing or that. It just wants me make me do it really. Like, and the same. Only thing I really enjoy about the whole V8 supercar thing is sort of the technology behind it, and like they do a few tech talks and different things like that. That's interesting. But I think that's just, you always want to learn you might gain something, whether it's something small, it may not, but
That's just because probably where your brain's at.
Yeah.
The way you think.
yeah,
All right, man. Thanks for your time, mate. It's a shame that we're actually meant to be at the track today.
Right.
But yeah, and it's like we said before, it's actually not raining right now, but you had 30 mil last night.
yeah.
So,
It's disappointing that we're not there, but hats off the borderline. They called it early. Everyone got plenty of notice. I had a few phone calls with them yesterday, and they did the right thing. They rang every driver personally, I think, and
yeah, right.
and everyone appreciated it that I spoke to. And yeah, we may not get any rain today, but we got 30 mil yesterday in about 6 hours, and everything's saturated. So
Yeah, you just probably wouldn't bring the track in, and then if there is any rain late at Savo, it'll be done for anyway.
And you got to look at them from the fact that they got staff, catering, all that.
Yeah,
Like if you go ahead and you get everyone there, and then it does rain this afternoon, they'll look like the biggest arseholes out there. So I like what they've done and calling it early, saving people travelling, and like I said to someone yesterday, at least I can actually do something on my weekend.
Yeah, and it's not an easy call to make either, too.
Definitely not.
I feel really bad for them too, because I know that it's not the biggest show ever, but it's a massive kick in the teeth for them financially as well, not to be running it.
Yeah. But no, they have spoke about rescheduling it to another day. They're just trying to figure out when they can to suit. So we won't lose that event as such, but it just won't be today, unfortunately.
Yeah, cool. I'll hold out for that, and because it's like my favourite track.
Yeah, I like it as well.
I love it. Yeah, there's just I don't know why. It's just I like the bull rings, eh?
Yeah, they're always good fun.
I think that's where the driver's got to come out.
Yeah.
On a bull ring, like a couple of laps, you're dealing with traffic, everything sort of comes into play.
Elbows up.
Yeah, the venue, green grass, the trees, everything like that. Best steak sandwich in Australia. What more can you want?
Not much.
All right, cheers, Scott.
No.
We'll chat later.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, man. Thank you.